The left and the right hemisphere and the relationship to language is also quite interesting, because the right hemisphere has control over things like humor, irony, things like style and poetry and music and rhythm. So if you're trying to pronounce accents, or you're trying to capture the intonation of language, that's what the right hemisphere is usually taking over. The left hemisphere is to do with semantics, so meaning, comprehension of meaning. So the left hemisphere deals with categories and information, and it's moving in this way, and that's a very sort of narrow thing that's important for understanding the context of the conversation. But the right hemisphere is actually sitting there paying attention to the same conversation, but you can imagine that it's sort of hearing something that might be a little bit like, it doesn't quite understand, or maybe it doesn't pay attention to the language, but it does actually pay attention to maybe the body language, the implicit content of what's being said. How close is this person to me in space? What does this person smell like? Is this person smiling in a weird way that's bringing across, bad intent or something like this? Is this person implying something that I should be aware of? Is this person acting strange with their hands? Are we in a safe area? Is this person behaving and moving in a way that's confident, or are they kind of showing themselves as shifty and something like this? Various things like this. It pays attention to the style, the way that it's being articulated, to try to get the mood of the person. So, if I say to you, I love you so much, it's like the right hemisphere will be like, that dude doesn't love me. It's like, I love you so much, big bell eyes. It's like, all right, that guy loves me. And there's a different comprehension of this based on the way it's said. It's not what you say, it's the way that you say it. Your right hemisphere is dominant for this. Now, what's also interesting is that the right hemisphere does have a capacity for comprehension of language and generation of vocabulary. It can suggest words, it can use language, it can use words, but the left hemisphere is able to inhibit the right hemisphere. So when you're in a conversation, generally speaking, the left hemisphere will shoot through the corpus callosum inhibition and say, shut up, and then start to talk. Because it's like, I have control, I know what I'm talking about here, I have control of this. Now, if you speak to somebody and maybe you come up against something you're unaware of, it can actually trigger your right hemisphere and switch on your right hemisphere to be able to help you think more imaginatively or poetically or something about what you're doing, to grab on new vocabulary onto the situation. So this highly creative, entertaining, exciting way of conversing and playing, this is where you develop all the love for people and you develop deep friendships, and it's all to do with, again, your right hemisphere switching on and these creative parts of your mind coming into fore. And of course, the right hemisphere is capable of doing this, and it actually shows that it has a much better free association capacity. Now, compare this to the sort of routine small talk that people don't like. You go and you meet a person and you say, hey, how's the weather? And you say sort of what is routine and what's going on and what's comfortable and what's safe.